What up? What up? What up, man? Welcome to another episode of the Ultimate 216 Show. That's Cecil Shorts. I'm your boy, Earl of Pearl. And as always, the Ultimate 216 Show is brought to you by the Living for We podcast. Catch season 2 of Living for We. Keep your head up. Hosted by Marlene Harris Taylor and Maisha Watkins each and every other Tuesday. Presented by Audio Stream Public Media. Each episode takes you deep into the real life struggles of gun violence in the community of color. Stories that don't always make the headlines. So subscribe today to the Living for We podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad I got good internet today. I was so mad the other day, bro. I'm glad. I'm not doing that again. I'm just gonna go in the office. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
hey, listen, like we apologize for the technical difficulties, technical issues we had on Monday. Yet 5,000 of you all watched the episode, man. So we definitely appreciate the support. It wasn't our best effort, but we back, we good stewards over our craft, and we're gonna give y'all a solid show tonight. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, man. Tell a friend. If you missed the flagship show earlier, go ahead and check that out after this show. Adam the Bull sat down with Joe Flacco as well. Make sure you check that out. We got a special guest today. Former NFL running back Rashad Jennings is going to join the Ultimate 216 show. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns revamped running back room. Nick Chubb. It's the Nick Chubb era in Cleveland over with. And we talk about Shedeur Sanders, why he thinks Shedeur slid in a draft. Speaking of Shedeur, we got some Shedeur news to start the show off. So according to Pro Football Talks, his rookie jersey just hit number 1 in rookie jersey sales as of today. And Shedeur Sanders was at John Marshall High School earlier today, speaking to the students there. So he's definitely off to a good start here in the city of Cleveland as he gets his career off. Now, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh well. First of all, us being city kids and going to a CMSD school, for him to just get drafted and show up right in the school, that's a big deal. That's a
Absolutely.
huge deal to the kids, the community, the city. So shout out to Sanders, Shedeur for doing that. That's a big deal. And what he's doing, honestly, is extremely smart. Like, you're winning over the fan base. Like that's what you're doing. You're
Absolutely.
winning over the fan base, and that's extremely smart on his part. It's going to be interesting though. Like his whole journey is going to be extremely interesting to watch. The fact that he has a number 1 rated jersey in the league right now, still in jersey in the league, is crazy. It's crazy, and I'm happy for him. But it's crazy. Like this is going to be. I thought you would get this fandom from Travis Hunter, so I couldn't imagine having Travis and him. But
Mhm.
Shedeur alone being a quarterback and bringing reaching the people he does, and having so many kids look up to him, having so many people either like or dislike whatever they're talking about him and looking at him and observing him. This could be something. At the end of the day, it could be something really really special for the Cleveland Browns if it works out the way I think it's going to work out.
Where do you think the coin flip? Right? Because if you look at it, it seems like there's a lot of people that kind of like, sympathize with Shador, knowing, okay, he might not have been a first round talent. Cool. Maybe we overhyped, maybe the fans of his overhyped where he should have been drafted, but to see him fall to the 5th round, I think a lot of people, look at that and say, okay, that's ridiculous. And I think by default, you have a lot of players inside the NFL. You have a lot of entertainers across the country. You just have a lot of people in general that seems to be rooting for this kid. Hell, even President Trump put out a tweet, thought it was ridiculous that he was still sitting on the draft board. And I'm not going to say it's unprecedented because we've seen athletes in the past come that has this huge persona that carries them. But, by all accounts, from a lot of people that we've talked to, Shedeur Sanders is a quality young man. He's a good young man. He's a dude that's one God fearing. And whether you want to take that to the bank or not, man, it says that you got a high quality of a moral code that you live by. He's somebody that's always been talked about as a leader. He's somebody that's respected amongst his teammates. And from everything I've been told, regardless of what we see on social media, he's a dude that works hard on his craft and he likes to make rap songs. It's just funny how, most, I ain't gonna say most, but some people have this negative perception of him based on what they see on social media. But those would be the same people that tell you we shouldn't take social media serious or social media isn't real.
It's interesting because I'm not a big fan of you hating somebody or really criticizing somebody over and over again. We don't even know him. Like you don't even know him. He hasn't had one off the field issue. He hasn't had one incident off the field. What you get is what you see on social media, like you said. So I think the tables turn because, and I don't, me personally, I don't feel bad for him, but I feel for him because he should have been in the first or second round. Whether you didn't believe he was a first round pick, great. I was on record saying they should draft him at 2. I have no problem with that. I stand on that. But he's no way he should have got past the second round. And I think that's what a lot of people are like, whoa, wait a second here, and all the thoughts and everything started coming like what is really happening the fifth round. And then you look at the quarterbacks and the other players selected above him, and you can say what you want about mock drafts, right? Anybody can make a mock draft, but normally, just being honest, when they rank their top 100 guys and they rank their top 150 guys, that's pretty legitimate. Like it's pretty legitimate that hey, you're a top 100 guy. And I think when you watch the film and when you look at Shedeur, he was a legit better than 144. Like you telling me there's 143 guys better than him? I just don't understand it. So I think that's where the sympathy, that's where the coin kind of flipped, where everybody's like, you know what, I'm gonna support this kid because even if I didn't agree he was first round, he's way better than the fifth round. And like you said, he's known for being a really good kid. There's no off the field issues. Nothing happened outside the field. People love him. His teammates love him. He's a true leader, and he balled while he was on the field. Like you can't say he wasn't balling. He changed. He helped change 2 programs around: Jackson State, HBCU, and Colorado in back-to-back years. So it's. I'm happy things are turning around for him. But it's gonna be fun to watch his journey in Cleveland. I'm glad he landed here in the city.
Yeah, I'm glad he landed here in the city too. I mean, whether people agree with it or not, he's going to give an energy boost to the city of Cleveland. He is going to put eyes on the city of Cleveland, and Lord be damned if he actually can play some football. It's going to help the city of Cleveland because it's going to bring in money and revenue. People are going to be gravitating towards the city just to come see Shedeur Sanders. But of course, before we even get to that point, he's going to have to put in the work. And we talked about it earlier on the show. A lot has been made of him being Deion's son when it comes to the confidence and the flashiness with the APs and the cars. But people don't talk enough about him being Deion's son when it comes to the work ethic and when it comes to those intangibles right there that he has. And there was some video circulating on social media yesterday of him already being in Cleveland and working out already. And so, by all accounts, like I said, he seems to check off all the boxes of, okay, this is somebody that you should want or would want inside your building. Will he turn out to be, a quality starting quarterback, a Pro Bowler or All Pro or anything like that? All that is to be determined. But I just know that to have him in this room and in this city, I think it's a good thing along with his competition, Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel has not really been talked about a lot because Shedeur Sanders, he has the huge persona. But, I think going back, I ain't going to lie, I was salty at the pick. I was pissed. You spent pick 94 on Dillon Gabriel, where in my mind, if he's a second or a third string quarterback that's not going to play, you can spend that draft capital on a player that can get you an immediate return on investment on the football field. But looking back, if the Cleveland Browns had really did their due diligence and have done their homework, according to a couple of reports, they actually met with Dillon Gabriel around the same time that they had met with Shedeur, had dinner with him as well. And so if they done their homework and they felt like, okay, if we don't draft him right here, right now, he's not going to be available. I can't really knock the Cleveland Browns for that, especially when I have said this whole process, no matter who the quarterback is, like, we got to have some blind faith and trust them and their discovery so that they hopefully got this pick right.
Do you think Shador will be treated like a fifth round pick, or will it be a fair competition between him and the rest of the quarterbacks?
I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to be treated like a normal fifth round pick because Shedeur Sanders is not a normal fifth round pick. This man has the highest selling rookie jersey of all rookies that was drafted in the NFL less than a week from being drafted. You look at the viewership that stayed tuned in on day 2 and day 3 of the draft. It was because of the speculation of when and where is Shedeur Sanders going to be drafted. And so because of everything that comes with him, it's hard to treat him like a normal fifth round pick. Now, Kevin Stefanski, I think him and Billy Musgrave and Tommy Reese, I think they got their work cut out because all both of those rookie quarterbacks deserve a fair opportunity to compete for either a backup job or eventually a starting quarterback job. That's just the nature of the beast. How it's going to work out, who knows? But I think having a veteran quarterback in there like Joe Flacco, who's been here before and knows a little bit of the system, Joe might not need as many reps to get ready as a Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, or Shedeur Sanders might need. So, hopefully that there's enough reps to go around amongst the three of them so that we can see what we have. I think the Browns got a good problem, and you want good problems on your hand when you're in the NFL, right?
No, you want that competition. It's just a matter of, like you're saying, how do you divide and conquer the reps, right? How do you give everybody the opportunity to prove what or show what they can or cannot do? How do you give guys um, the reps in preseason? How do you guys rep the reps in training camp? How do you give guys reps when it comes to everyday practice? Rookie minicamp would be easy because it'd probably just be those two quarterbacks, right? Maybe a third, but it'd probably just be Dylan and Shedeur. But not only do you got to give those guys reps as far as Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Shedeur, but you got to give them reps with different teams, like the first team, the second team, the third team. It can't just be only third team for one guy, only second team for the other guy. And you got to see how they work with how they command the offense. There's so many little things that goes into it. So it's going to be interesting. I also think it's interesting that the quarterbacks they drafted are not the typical AFC type quarterbacks, right? They're not the big and strong type of guys. They're more of the smaller, the more of the accurate quarterback guys, right?
Mhm.
Shador's played in cold weather. I don't think Dylan's ever played in cold weather, being from where he's from, and playing where he played in college. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt, how they play, how they get after it. It's going to be interesting to see, like, even the little things, right? Like when they come out the huddle, how is he commanding the huddle? Like who's talking in meetings? Who's talking in the locker room? Who's talking in the QB room? It's going to be so interesting to see how the nuances are presented and how they go. And um, I even say this, like, you can't. I wouldn't be surprised if today Kenny Pickett is the starter. Like if you say, hey, if I had to pick a starter for week one, it'll be Kenny Pickett. But how long is he going to be there? Because we saw what Kenny Pickett can or cannot do already in the NFL. So if they feel like Dylan or Shador is not ready, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the vets start. But honestly, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Out of those four guys, out of those four guys, you look at the two vets and the two rookies. Do you keep all of them, meaning one guy's on practice squad, and you keep three on the roster, or do you like how do you think that pans out?
I don't think, and I don't see no world where the Cleveland Browns could keep four quarterbacks on their roster. I think it would
Even
be.
one on practice squad?
I don't even think you're gonna be able to sneak one on a practice squad. I just
Mm.
don't. I don't find that realistic. But before we get deeper into that, let me take it back a little bit because you talked about Shadeur actually playing in cold weather. Dillon Gabriel came out and there's a quote out there of him talking about he has a preference to play in warmer weather climates. It sounds like he's a dude that don't want to play in the cold. Is that something that you think is gonna be held against him? Is that something that people are going to be paying attention to see, okay, like how does his body language, how is his, how does he process, how does everything for him go on that lake when you still got a couple years before that new stadium is built? You know what I'm saying? So how does that situation go for him there? So I think that's another aspect of his situation that'd be interesting. The Browns, they got this old cliche that say if you got more than one quarterback, you ain't got none. The Browns got five. So the Browns got five. So that's to tell you everything you need to know about the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. And just looking at it, man, I don't know. I think they both at some point have to play to see what you have. I think, and it's weird because Shadeur is such a unique case, right? Like everything around him, you could tell already is going to be a special case. And I would say Shadeur more so than Dillon Gabriel, that you got to find out what you have because of the persona and everything else. And I'm just thinking in the mindset of Jimmy Haslam here. Like If I find out I got me a quarterback and I stole this young man in the fifth round, and I'm still sitting on two first round picks in 2026, now, we talking about something different. And so it'll be interesting. I think they both will play at some point this season. A lot of people believe Kenny Pickett will end up being a starting quarterback. I don't. I think that's Joe Flacco's job to lose, if I'm being totally honest with you. And we'll see how it plays itself out. All I know is with Bill Musgrave, Tommy Reese, and Kevin Stefanski, y'all got y'all hands full, and y'all got to figure out, how y'all gonna split up the reps with these quarterbacks, how you all are going to go about, figuring out who's charted where on the depth chart and who gets what reps with what players. But to further your point about they are not your typical AFC North quarterbacks, they definitely fit the mode of being guys that Kevin Stefanski feel like he can win with. Those traditional pocket pass quarterbacks that focuses in on accuracy. Two things that they like, meaning they being Tommy Reese and Kevin Stefanski, they like guys that make good decisions. They like guys that can extend plays, and they love guys who don't turn the football over. Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, either one of those young men turn the football over. So,
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm just so interested in the reps, man. Like just being in a locker room, right, and having to see the reps. It's certain quarterbacks when you get in the training camp or any practice, right, that don't get reps at all. The only reps they get would be practice, or I wouldn't say practice squad reps. It would be scout team reps. That would be the reps the third quarterback gets. That would be the reps some second team quarterback will get, right? Because a lot of the time, your starter's getting majority of the reps because he needs the timing. He needs to be able to get the routes in and see the checks and know what defense they're going to be in and understand how to make the audible here or the timing with the handoff or the RPO, whatever it looks like, right? So it's going to be interesting, man. I think it's 3 preseason games now. Is that correct? So I'm very curious how they're gonna divide this up. Um, but when you look at it, I think I agree with you. I don't think Shedeur will be treated like a normal fifth round pick. I think his mindset is going to be honest with you. He needs to come off hot, like from day one. Whenever rookie minicamp starts, he has to come off on his A game, from the way he talks to people, carries himself, communicates with coaches, communicates with receivers, communicates with linemen. He got to win it from day one. He's gonna have to be on his P's and Q's, and the same thing with Dillon Gabriel. Because if I'm Dillon Gabriel, the third round pick, I got to look over my shoulder because I know the projections he had, what Shedeur had, and how hungry he possibly can be. So I got to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's as well, and I'm not like getting beat in every single rep and every single play and every single time he's on the field. And I think honestly, if I think about it, I think more pressure's on Dillon than Shedeur. I think Shedeur is like, all right, cool. You're gonna draft me fifth round, I'm just gonna prove you wrong. But Dillon's like, I was drafted above Shedeur, and he will always be compared to Shedeur. And then now he has to live up to whatever the expectations are of the third round pick.
big facts, big facts. As we wait on Rashad Jennings, man, we got a lot of people in the chat dropping comments. We got 192 people watching with us live. I want to thank y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend to jump in, man. Before we read some of our comments, see, so how about you tell the good people about the Buckeye Credit Union?
Today's episode is brought to you by Buckeye State Credit Union. If you are unfamiliar with them, let me introduce you to the financial friend you didn't know you needed until now. Buckeye State Credit Union is a local brand that offers a wide range of products from checking accounts to home equity lines of credit and auto loans. They have some of the lowest rates around and are committed to serving Northeast Ohio. The Cleveland location in Shaker Heights, but there are 5 brick and mortar locations across the state. Buckeye State Credit Union is here to help make your life easier. They make banking more convenient, always putting the customer first so you leave feeling cared for, valued, and respected. Connect, simply, and adapt. Those are the core values that make Buckeye State Credit Union the right choice for you. For more information, head to buckeyecu.org for more information. Buckeye State Credit Union, your money simplified.
Shout out to everybody at the Buckeye Credit Union. Let's get to some of these comments, man. Let's start from the very beginning. Bo says Sanders will flame just like all Haslam picks. Bo went all and says Earl the Girl and his boy Chris Sanders, and he is not winning over the real fans, just idiots. Yo, Bo jumped in this chat mad. I don't know what's wrong with Bo. Hey, Bo, whatever it is, bro, I ain't do it. Cecil ain't do it. I
Like,
advise you
what's
to hit
up,
reset
man?
on your day. Don't let
What's up,
Shedeur Sanders
man?
put you in a bad mood like that, bro. So it's a man. Go out there, enjoy the sun. Go get you a drink or something, man. That's
God,
Bravo
dog.
says is he will win the starting job with ease. He says his only comp is Gabriel Flacco and Kenny Pick Six are both washed. 4411825. That's a St. Clair zip code. You know that.
4418.
I wish the best for Sanders, but for a fifth round pick, this topic is sucking way too much oxygen. Hey, listen, I'll just say this. Y'all might as well get used to it. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the topic of discussion on every single Cleveland sports show for the remainder of the spring, throughout the summer, into the fall, and into the winter. And this is just me setting a realistic and proper expectation for you all. So if you're sick of the Shedeur Sanders talk now, I advise y'all go tune in somewhere else, Columbus or Cincinnati. But in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders has been the number one trended sports topic. He's going to continue to be the number one trended sports topic. It is what it is. Jimmy W76 says, I hope they all do good. Then we could trade one and not need to worry about a quarterback next year. They will take two linemen, but still. Yeah, I think ideally, like we talked about it, if both of these cats turn out to be pretty good quarterbacks, then the Cleveland Browns can take that capital, or at least that first round capital, and do something else with it. Kevin Daniel says, let's support the kid. Everybody change the culture. All for it. Go Browns. I feel that, man. Shout out to you. Let's show him some support. Let's see what else we got here. Rodney Porter, Shedeur Sanders, Rookie of the Year, Hall of Famer. Also, Rodney Porter, the owner drafted Shedeur. He is the starting quarterback. Nobody's better than him. No one. No one.
Hey, do you think that's true? Do you think Haslam pulled the trigger on that?
Yeah, I do. I
Just
do.
based on the relationship?
I just think he's seen him sitting there, and Jimmy doesn't miss an opportunity to make some money. Shedeur Sanders has a name that sells, and that's just the reality. So,
Hmm. All right, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this while we're still waiting for Rashad to hop in. Um, Nick Chubb. I think a lot of people are fascinated with what he did do.
mhm.
I think a lot of people are fascinated with how he once was as a Browns player in his elite years. I think he's awesome in the community, awesome teammate, awesome individual. But to say he belongs on the squad, in my opinion, is asinine. It's asinine. He's not the same player he once was. The injuries are, for a running back especially, are going to be extremely hard to come back on. You just drafted two guys that can be day one impacts, in my humble opinion, to be in that running back room. And to bring him back, even though I know he got the videos out, he got all this stuff happening, all this stuff going on, kind of like showing, hey, I still got it. To bring him back and not have a conversation with him, like, hey, if we do bring you back, it's going to be in this role. Or to even bring him back at all, in my opinion, is a waste of his time. And it shouldn't be a thing for the Cleveland Browns. At some point, it comes to an end for every one of your favorite players. At some point, it comes to an end. Doesn't mean he's awful. Doesn't mean he's treated wrong. Doesn't mean he's bashed by the organization. It's just business and it's the truth. And I think for Nick Chubb, and I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think for Nick Chubb, the end is near. He has had one hell of a run, but to bring him back and to be in the room like he's going to be actually be able to get significant playing time is irresponsible and it's just not smart. And it wouldn't help your football team. If you really want him around like that, just make him a coach or something. But do not have him on the roster like he's going to compete for a job and compete to get reps. There's just not enough footballs to go around, and he's not as good as he once was.
So I'm indifferent on that
Mm.
because I feel like Nick Chubb is one of a few players that actually fit this mantra that the Cleveland Browns talk about when it comes to being smart, tough, accountable. He's one of the few people that you don't really hear too much from, that the production is in the work. He seems to be one of the few people that has come through this organization and has done every single thing right, and has always, taken whatever sacrifices he needed to take to make sure the overall program was going in the direction that it needed to be going in. I don't think the end is near for Nick Chubb, and maybe that's just my fandom talking, and maybe me being a little biased. I think when he came back from that injury last year, and the games that we seen him play before he got hurt again, I think he was starting to try to find his groove a little bit. And to the fact that he was even out there at all, contributing anything, I think that was just a solace to him and how hard he worked just to get to that point of even being available. It sucks that he got hurt again, but it just seems like Nick Chubb is one of those dudes, man, that he can defeat the odds, defy the odds. And I think he can still help the Cleveland Browns in some shape or form. I'm not expecting Nick Chubb to be the player that he was 3 or 4 years ago. The lead back, the guy that can run for over 12, 1,300 yards, the guy that can average 5 point yards a carry, 5 point plus yards a carry, etc. But I do think he can be a contributing factor in a short yardage type of role, right? In a goal line type of role. And I definitely think he can help mentor a Dylan Sampson and a Quinshon Judkins. I'm not going to take a crap on Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford has shown that he has home run hitting ability, but Jerome Ford is not a player, if I'm being quite honest with you, that I've really ever been high on. And so to me, if I had the option, give me the two rookies and Nick Chubb over the two rookies and Jerome Ford. And again, I ain't trying to knock Jerome Ford, but that's just my opinion. I still think it's something there. And I think, man, as crazy as it sounds, because don't nobody owe nobody anything, but I feel like the Cleveland Browns owe it to Nick Chubb,
Mm.
even if it's just a little bit, man, to like give him the opportunity to show, hey, like it's still something there because he made so many sacrifices for this organization. A 1 year contract that's built around incentives with a low base. I don't think that hurt nobody.
I would rather go with this is just, and I understand what you're saying, but I'd rather go with a J.K. Dobbins or another veteran back that can come in and go along with the rookies than a guy that had multiple devastating knee injuries. And maybe I'm just thinking it too much from a business standpoint, because again, I agree with you. He's sacrificed a lot for the city, a lot for the team. He is one of the most popular Browns players ever, in my opinion. Like, he is one of the guys that's won the hearts over of true Cleveland Browns fans. It's just when I look at him being on the roster and being able to contribute again, to me, I just didn't see it last year, and I get worried as he gets older and has he had multiple serious knee injuries that he can still contribute in some type of manner. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's a short yardage guy. I know for sure he'll be a good locker room guy, but to me, you're taking away a roster spot for somebody else that's probably can help the team in another way. Probably can help the team in a bigger way, right? Because if you add him on the 53, you're taking somebody else away that could have possibly earned that spot. So that's my thing. I'm just worried he's not. I know he's not the same guy. I'm just worried I think as a Browns fan, we look over, or at times as fans in general, we look too much into the player he once was and how much we love him, and not enough on, okay, how can we make this team better?
All right, cool. So this is what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna hear from our other sponsor, Epicor, in just a second. But if you agree with Cecil, drop a one in the chat. If you agree with me, Earl of Pearl, drop a two in the chat. After we hear from our sponsor, man, we're gonna go to the second part of this conversation and talk about what the two rookies can contribute right away. But right now, Cecil, tell us what Epicor got to say.
Well, today's episode is brought to you by also Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the All Stars are the hard-working manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to the medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier, managing logistics easier, responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, will equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners, easier finds the lane. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com.
Also, the segment is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get into the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Me personally, I love how FanDuel is giving you that 30% profit boost on the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can bet that throughout the playoffs, man. Don't miss out. Head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson. First of all, do you got a nickname? Does anybody in the chat have a nickname for the new dynamic duo that we have here in Cleveland?
Oh, that's a good question. I need to see more Dylan Sampson. I need to see more of him to give a full nickname. Cause we seen, I mean, if you're a Ohio State fan, you seen QJ, right?
Mhm.
But ooh, that's a good question, Earl. Ooh.
Yeah, man. So talk to me about this new era of Cleveland Browns running back. Who do you see being a lead back? How do you see them complementing one another? And then where does Jerome Ford kind of fall into play with all of this?
Well, I'll be honest. I think it's going to be fair game first, right? I think it's going to be let those three guys, four, whoever's in that room, let those guys compete and see who kind of can rise to the top. I think no matter what, I think QJ Judkins will be in the picture, right? I think he's just too good. And when you draft a guy as high as you did, he has to be in the picture. I mean, he is a guy that can take a home run ball anywhere on the field. He's a guy that can run a guy over, make a guy miss. He is exceptional putting his foot in the ground and hitting the hole hard. So I'm excited to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the job and is a full-time starter. And then coming off the bench, you got two home run hitters again with a Dylan Sampson and a Jerome Ford. I think Jerome Ford is best fit for a role, not a down to down to down. Every down back is what they call it, right? So I think having Jerome and having Dylan to mix things up is really good. I think what's going to happen is who's going to be the best pass catcher between the three? Who's going to be the best? I love bash and slash. That's pretty cool. Who's going to be the best the best guy out the backfield on third down situations? It's going to be Jerome. It's going to be Dylan, right? Who's the best guy that's going to protect the football? Who's the guy that's going to be able to not to take a check down 15, 20 yards, take a check down to the house, right? You got to make those splash plays not only in practice but in preseason and when you get those reps in the game. So I think it's going to be a thing where they definitely use two, possibly three in different situations, but definitely a two thing. But I think eventually, before the year's out, maybe halfway through, I think Dylan's good enough, and I know QJ is good enough to really take over that backfield.
Hey man, shout out to Rodney Porter, man. I'm sorry, that was funny as hell.
What do you say?
That was funny as hell.
Sweating
Sweating
tears.
tears. Sweating tears, baby. Sweating tears. Yo, so like for everything you just said, man, I like Dylan Sampson as well, man. This dude is a home run hitter. I think he's a perfect complement to Quinshon Judkins. And I think honestly, what you said about Jerome Ford being a package guy, I like that as well. I actually like Jerome Ford being the Cleveland Browns kick returner and punt returner. But I think when you look at both of these running backs, man, this is your future. I mean, just look at this, right? Last year, over 1,400 yards, rushing 22 touchdowns. The man averaged 5.8 yards a carry, and he averaged 5.9 yards a carry for his career. Like that's Nick Chubb type stuff right there. When I look at Quinshon Judkins, man, I was a guy who liked him more than Travion Henderson. I think Travion is the home run guy. He has more speed, but he also had more miles on him than Quinshon did. And this is a young man that is a three down back, in my opinion. He's a downhill runner. He has enough speed to get on the outsides that can take it home. He can catch the ball out the backfield. And more importantly than that, bro, he can block. And I think that is always a undervalued trait in a running back, a guy that can pass block on third downs, right? And so to me, when you got these two young men in the building with a Jerome Ford, you've done yourself well, because if you just look at it, the Cleveland Browns struggled last year. Just look at it. 565 yards from Jerome Ford. You got 332 from Nick Chubb. Deontay Foreman gave you 232. Deshaun Watson, of all people, 148. DTR had 122. That is not the Cleveland Browns rushing attack that we are used to. So hopefully the Cleveland Browns are righted the ship with the running back room. You know, they drafted a Harold Fanning Jr., a Northeast Ohio kid. It looks like that they're going back to more of that 12 personnel. And it'd be interesting to see, you know, how the Cleveland Browns offense get back to their roots of being a run-first offense, man. Before we get up out of here, I want to let you all know we did miss Rashad Jennings this time. I think we had some scheduling conflicts, but we'll try to get him back in here next time. Let's see. Coach Ross had Tears and Fears, Pain and Gain. See if we got any more in here. No, we ain't getting any more, man. But shout out to all of y'all who stopped by and dropped a comment, man. Remember, like, subscribe, tell a friend about the Ultimate 216 show. Remember to check out all the flagship show, check out the flagship show and the rest of the spinoff shows. Till next time, and that's Cecil Shorts. I'm Earl of Pearl. Remember, man, be great, spread love. Being great come with a price. Spread love. That thing is priceless. Till next week, peace.